can't see that, but in the same breath, you will tell me that, oh, they did MLK like this. Look what they did to John F. Kennedy, Malcolm. You know this. You know the capabilities. You know what they capable of. That's how I know you biased, and then I can't respect your judgment. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Just a Brown Girl in America. And yes, today we are doubling back. We have finally got us a verdict in a judgment on the Fannie Mae Willis case. Massive backlash apparently against the judge. We're going to take a look at Duggan Exile. Go check out his channel. He is very knowledgeable. I did want to see what he had to say because he has a good way of breaking these things down so we can understand it. But essentially, the judge has issued his ruling, played it safe, not without crushing, crushing, crushing the integrity of Miss Fannie Mae Willis, but saving his butt at the same time. Got an election coming up, so apparently he's was voted in. So he's trying to save his butt. So I am going to take a look. We're going to watch this together. I actually have not watched this video either. I will react to it together, but we're going to take a look, see what Doug has to say. Before we do that, don't forget to hit the like button. Please subscribe to my channel. Let's talk about it in the comments. Respectfully, please. And we'll go from there. But let's see what Miss Fannie Pack. Now, basically, what has happened is Nathan Wade has been removed from the case. Fannie Mae Willis has not. Okay? The judge removed Nathan Wade from the case, but not Fannie Willis. Fani Willis. Fani Willis. Now, that is weird, okay? Because it's weird because the same thing, they were being charged for the same thing. Well, a hearing, not charged. Um, they were going over the same thing. He was found guilty. They did the same thing. They lied on the stand, the text messages, everything. But he know it will be a massive uproar if he removed her from the case. He didn't want to get seen as being political, but he did leave an opening for other entities to come after her for fraud, and she still could lose her license, be disbarred, things that matter. But he wanted to save himself. So basically, Fannie's still on the case because if he would have removed her, they would have had to find a whole new prosecuting attorney. Who's to say somebody would have taken it? I actually rather have an incompetent judge on the case that I'm trying to win. But without further ado, let's check this out and see what Doug's saying.
The fallout on Judge McAfee in Fulton County, Georgia is significant online. I'm going over some of your responses to what happened. I think history is going to remember this as a really big mistake. It's easier to see that in hindsight, of course. It's only been a couple hours, but largely his decision does not make sense. It's not consistent. Why would you dismiss Nathan Wade when Fani Willis is the one who hired the guy? It's likely going to be appealed by the Mike Roman crew that are going to say, look, we just disagree with his opinion. It's going to go up to an appeals court. Welcome to Doug in Exile. I'm Doug TeNapel. This is where the happy patriots are. I'm going to show you guys why, in a way, Judge McAfee, all that happens is the public just now knows that he's a wussy. Not that he's compromised, not that he's evil, but that he has no backbone, that he has no control over his own courtroom. His pants have been pulled down in public, and there's barely any discernible proof that he's a male. Let's get to the online fallout on this decision. Here's Mike, the great Mike Davis on Twitter. Judge Scott McAfee's decision is clearly and legally wrong. Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis had an illegal financial stake in her criminal prosecution against President Trump. Here's Mike Davis.
With this judge, this is a young judge appointed by Governor Brian Kemp, who is certainly a Trump hater. This Judge Scott McAfee is like 33 or 34 years old. He worked for Brian Kemp as the Georgia State Inspector General. He worked for Fani Willis in the Fulton County DA's office. He donated $150 to Fani Willis's campaign. There is very clear evidence that Fani Willis had an illegal financial stake in this criminal prosecution of President Trump.
So McAfee is just too weak to fight the corruption in his own state. This is about him being a wimp and Kemp being a wimp. You can be a conservative Republican in Fulton County, Georgia, and survive if you're a wimp. And really, the Republican Party, that's what everyone's angry about and tired of. We're tired of wimps. That people think by being a good man, you can't make a fist and fight.
Man, that is literally the beef with the Republican Party. Like, for lack of better words, you said it. It's almost like they weak, but the messaging is off. It's wrong. They have good policies. The policies are American policies. They'll let people come out and smear them as racist, this and that, or present a bill, but their messaging is off, and you still kind of not knowing. You got, for example, you got the new border bill. I think it's HR2 something one or whatever. But you have the new border bill. Now they presented this bill over here. When he first got in office, Biden did not want to take a look at this bill. Now that it's a crisis, the election year is coming up, and they see that it's a lot of backlash, a lot of eyeballs on the border, a lot of crime and murders. Now the Dems are acting like they don't care. Present a bill which does not close the border. It just throws money at it to process faster because they want to replace us and replace our votes, especially the black people, drop them off in our community. That's another whole thing. But why won't the Republicans say, no, we don't want this bill because it does not shut down the border, because it wants them to process this many 5,000 illegals per day instead of this many. It's not shutting down the border. Now, they better not break because they have the public on their side. We need control of this border. Once we get control of the border, once everything is at a halt for a second, then we could talk about redoing the immigration laws. But right now, they let it get out of hand. It's too much. My whole point of saying all that was a long form way of saying their messaging off when they could have really just said, no, this is why I didn't do this. This is why I'm doing this. And this is why we're not doing this. It seems simple, but.
And that in and of itself is a worse kind of evil, I believe, than being a mean person. Because wimps do have a certain amount of damage by good men doing nothing. And they get a pass because we have a bit of a pacifist streak in us of, oh, he's a gentleman and he's so kind and he's so nice. You know what? Nice people get people killed all the time. Here's Fani Willis in 2020 indicting herself. Listen to this.
You say, Miss Willis, Judge Willis, what law did he violate? A few, but let's try this on for size. OCGA 45-11-5, extortion, subsection A. As used in this code section, the term extortion means an unlawful taking by a public law officer under color of his office from any person of any money or thing of value that is not due to him or more that is due to him. Any public officer shall be by himself, his deputy, or his agent, or other in person employed by him be guilty of extortion in receiving other and greater fees than by law are allowed him, shall be guilty of a misdemeanor, and repeat this part for me, and shall be dismissed from office. Not maybe, shall be dismissed from office.
Not maybe, shall be. You know what the last guy's mistake was that's different than Fani Willis? He should have said, look, I didn't get any benefits. I just got this cash. His mistake was he didn't do everything in cash like Fani Willis. That's his big excuse, according to Joe Rogan.
And to see that her explanation was cash. She keeps a lot of cash around the house. Like, where'd you get this cash?
Yeah, really.
Why do you have so much cash to pay for all these vacations and all that? You paid them back? Okay.
Yeah.
Remember the rules from now on, my friends, in Democrat Fulton County, Georgia. Do everything in cash.
It's like it's like a little kid's explanation. Oh, I paid him back in cash.
I'm going to fill out my taxes in cash. I'm going to do all my businesses in cash. Anytime I try and pay someone off, pay them off in cash. If you're going to embezzle them in cash. Don't keep receipts. Don't write any of it down. Just keep a big wad of about $10,000, $15,000 in your mattress. There's nothing anyone can do about it. You just go, hey, I did it in cash. Cash. I don't.
Here's the thing. You cannot, like, how are you supposed to prosecute people, go after people for lying, about integrity, for fraud? How are you supposed to continue to go on like that when you have been engaging in the same activities? I am baffled. Like, literally, how can we trust you? You cannot be trusted with that type of authority. Like, no. And then you going after the former president of the United States for essentially, and 18 or 17 other co-defendants, essentially for the same thing. And you ran on getting your the previous DA out by saying he was corrupt, and that would be tolerated in your office. But for some reason, it's being tolerated by you. Then you fired that darn gone girl when she tried to come tell you that they were spending that money wrong. And you fired.
Know what you're talking about. I do everything in cash. See, it's a poor 6'8", barely literate comic book artist white thing. We do everything in cash. This I got from Phil Holloway on Twitter. This is DA Fani T. Willis, Georgia bar grievance. Someone's going to the bar with her to have her removed. And this is a 21-page, 22-page document. They go through all of her illegalities. I don't even know if I need to read some of these, but GA bar rule sections potentially violated. They go through list bit by bit, every single thing they could find. And this is just a pedestrian doing his job, and he does a great job. It is exhaustive. Finally, here it says, I respectfully submit this grievance to the State Bar of Georgia in pursuit of seeking the truth, good government, transparency, ethics, and fiscal responsibility. Stephen Kramer, I got bad news for you, guy. You're looking for ethics and transparency in Fulton County, Georgia with their bar. But good luck. I'm happy people are still trying. People are still pretending there's a rule of law and our court systems are there. And McAfee's just being fair. Hey, if you believe in unicorns, I'll believe in unicorns. If you tell me there's leprechauns in trees, if there's leprechauns, fine, there's leprechauns. Let's all go on a leprechaun hunt together, guys.
See, this case was brought intentionally this year. It's old as can be, just like Stormy Daniels, just like a lot of these cases that we've seen that are witch hunts, to stop Trump from campaigning. So while I appreciate all of it, and it is quite entertaining, I'll give you that. I don't disagree with you. I think that we can't be distracted from the fact that this case entirely should be thrown out. Miss Willis is clearly compromised. The taxpayers should be outraged in the state of Georgia, and they should take action against her.
We have to take action against this because McAfee, don't rely on your judges. They're compromised. Don't rely on the legal system, guys. It's compromised. This is to try to preserve the rule of law. They have to get rid of Fani Willis and this whole Trump indictment.
I hope it opens the door, Jesse, to us looking at all the DAs, all the AGs, communications between the White House, the administration, and collusion between all of them in bringing these cases the same year, even though some of these cases are years and years and years old, had no investigation or investigations for years, and then waited until he was the candidate, an obvious candidate for the Republican Party and nominee. So I would like it to open the door. I hope we get those texts, but let's look into everything. I fear that we can't do that until we have a different administration in place.
That's Trump lawyer Alina Habba, and she's talking about the texts between Fani Willis and Nathan Wade that will eventually come out to the public, and then we'll see the whole entire plan of her meeting with Jack Smith, with the White House, with Nathan Wade. It'll go to their motive of trying to get Trump and not pursue justice. Here's the brilliant Victor Davis Hanson, the great one. No law left in America, from Willis to her. From the testimonies of at least two associates of Fani Willis and Nathan Wade, from the inconsistent and self-contradictory statements of Willis and Wade themselves, especially about large cash remittances. Remember, this is about the big cash. That's what they used to hide everything. Without any supportive proof from Wade to Willis about text messages. So the question arises, this is my own edit, I'm sorry, but I'm jumping to a different part of that document. So the question arises, what would a Georgia prosecutor have to do to be disqualified from a case by Judge McAfee? Judge McAfee or Judge McAfee, what does someone have to do to get disqualified from a case under you, buddy? Is there still a law against perjury and fraud, or does ideology and race now determine guilt or innocence in America? McAfee, I'm asking you right now, you're 30-something years old, you have your whole career in front of you, because it looks like what the smart people are saying is there's no rule of law. You certainly do not police your own courtroom. You allow people to perjure themselves in front of you, and you let them get away with it. Your courtroom has no discipline. It has no strength. There's no foundation holding it up. It doesn't look like justice, buddy. So what, McAfee? There's really no legal system left as we once knew it. That's our take home from your courtroom. How does that feel that you're doing that to an entire huge national audience now sees it as fraud? The only people that think that you're doing what's right are the most hardened, Jacobin, radical Democrats, anti-election Democrats that wanted to remove Trump's name from a ballot are the only ones that agree with you that you made the right decision. Finally, here's the last quote from Victor Davis Hanson. We have a prosecutor who has likely violated more laws than her target, Trump, and yet the law was warped to excuse her in the same degree it was contorted to ensure that Trump was indicted, you crooked judge.
I just said that. Didn't I just say that? I literally just said that.
Let's let Alina Habba finish this one up.
More importantly, it's time for the American people to see the corruption I've seen, the destruction I've seen to the judicial system. It is deep. They are coordinating. And there is no question that her texts with Mr. Wade are just the beginning.
Yeah, she can't prosecute Trump in the same courtroom that she perjured herself in.
Well, she can in McAfee. Under McAfee, under all of these corrupt Georgian people, actually, you can perjure yourself in court. They'll give you a pass and then go after the president. That's the United States of America that we live in, guys. But don't put your trust in the legal system. Listen to me. Your rights don't come from a judge. Thank God. They come from God. They're inside of you. Your rights. I can't take them away from you. McAfee can't take them away from you. Fani Willis can't take them away from you. They can actually throw you in jail and your rights are still there. They're just not recognized. What happens is the government becomes corrupt in not recognizing your rights or the truth or the actual law. Truth has a way of shaking all this stuff out. It may take some time, guys. My confidence is still, I believe in the truth. I believe in yours and my rights. It's just, we're just watching a temporary corruption of our law. And it's up to us to reform it. Me and you, my people, are you on board? Are you quitting out on America? Are you giving up? Let me know in the comments below if you've given up, if you surrender. Just write the word surrender. If you're still in the fight, then say, I'm still in it. This has been Doug in Exile.
Okay, so yeah. I guess my takeaway, because people all like they so gung ho on like this, how the DOJ and the justice system is literally coming after former President Trump from every angle. Like, if you can't see that, but in the same breath, you will tell me that, oh, they did MLK like this. Look what they did to John F. Kennedy, Malcolm. You know this. You know the capabilities. You know what they capable of. That's how I know you biased, and then I can't respect your judgment or your conversation, because if you are gonna have that double standard, it's just ridiculous. If you sitting here okay with them letting Biden out with literally the same thing but worse, because he was not a president, he was not even a vice president, he a senator and then the vice president. He was not president. He was not supposed to have those documents. He was not covered under the Presidential Act. In the garage, on the floor. But then look what they're doing to this man, who was the president of the United States, who had a right to take those documents home. That was stored in one of the most secure places in Florida. Security, everything covers those grounds. You got the Letitia James case. They try to say Mar-a-Lago worth $18 million. Come on, man. And I ain't even into no real estate, but we know that's just crazy. The name itself make it more than that. You got this cool lady doing all these things that you can't prove. Like, and all this stuff was old. So why now? I'm telling you, they don't want their status quo messed up. That is why they're coming after that man. That man was not, nobody thought these evil things about President Donald Trump until he came down that escalator and then he became president. They figured out that he was nobody that could be bought. He was nobody that they could puppet master. And he said he was going to drain the swamp. Once he said that, game on. So, I don't know. Let's talk about it. Talk about it in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Let me let you know what you think about the Fani Willis judgment. She on. Loverboy is off. What you think? You think that's fair? I don't know. They are always, I told you, they coming after the men. But with that being said, I love y'all. Just a brown girl in America. Don't forget, share this channel. Let's grow. Let's grow. Let's grow. Let's have our voices heard. Don't forget to comment.